Everybody, welcome back to Football-Oranje, your home of Dutch football. Mike is here, Abdul is here. A preview of Finland against the Netherlands in World Cup 2026 qualifying. So the first game of the qualifiers, an exciting chance for perhaps a new generation of talent to come through, some new players come and play. But we have our typical Ronald Koeman squad, of course. So we're going to talk about the squad press conference that Koeman has done. We're recording this on Tuesday evening. Several days before the game, but we couldn't wait any longer to talk about the Netherlands. So get involved in the comments on YouTube. Let us know on social media your thoughts on the game, this podcast, and get involved in all the usual ways. We are available on YouTube. You can see us and watch us on YouTube. We'll be looking at the squad selection on screen in a minute, but also available Apple Podcasts and your usual podcast providers as well. One final shout out as well. Football-Oranje scarves have gone out really, really well. We've still got the link to those in the description if you want to get yourself one of those and support what we do on Football-Oranje. You can see them in the background here if you want to grab yourselves one, and I'll leave a link down below. And maybe remind you about those a bit later, so if you're thinking about it and you're mulling it over. Mike, Abdul, how are we doing? And are we looking forward to like a new cycle here? It always feels like a new cycle, the first game of the qualifiers.
Well, of course, we come from a good memory, although we lost the last time we saw Oranje. But I guess we all were happy with the performance. Many people were expecting Oranje to lose badly against Spain, but we were very close to win, actually. We were the better side in both matches. So we are very optimistic about the match against Finland. I think Koeman played in a much better way against Spain. I think he will continue the same way against Finland and Malta. We can see from the squad, from the players he selected, that he's pretty much going to play the same way. And this is really promising.
Yeah, I think it's always exciting to have like a new campaign to get stuck into. And I think that it's a group on paper that everyone should be winning. And yeah, it's probably one of the toughest games of this group for the Netherlands. Finland away is, along with Poland away, probably the two toughest fixtures Netherlands have in this group. So if they can get off to a win in Finland, then that puts them in a great position heading into that game against Malta, which should be a case of how many can Netherlands score in that game and see about goal difference. I think the fact that Poland have got off to a perfect start so far with 2 wins and Finland have 4 points as well, it does have a little bit of pressure on this game, but if Netherlands play like they did against Spain, then it shouldn't really have a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. It shouldn't be a problem, and it is a big problem if they drop points at all, even a draw. They could still get through the win all the games, but it is that reputation that the Netherlands have to put up with this group, win every game, unless it's a dead rubber game at the end. It doesn't matter; they have to win every time. The squad selection then, it didn't really put up any trees. I'll put it up on screen now, shall I? Usual suspects, and there are some great players there, players that we have been waiting for a long time to see them in a Netherlands shirt, and they've been doing really well so far. Players that were out injured in the past, and then some names that you would question, I guess. I mean, the names that stick out for me are, we get to see Frimpong play again, moving to Liverpool, of course, this summer. Mickey van der Ven, that clearance did in the Europa League final was class. Yeah, so there's some players we're really looking forward to here. So, Mike, I'll hand the reins over to you. You were posting about this on the Football-Oranje website of the squad selection. You also mentioned some names that were missed out. What was kind of your thoughts about this selection this time?
I think it's the obvious selection. I think that he's gone with the same names. I think he said it in his press conference today that it's something that annoys me when Dutch coaches say this, because it's the same with, I know we're not really talking about the under-21s on this podcast, but it's the same with Reisiger as well, that he keeps talking about having a fixed group that he wants to stay together throughout, campaigns and throughout his tenure in charge. So this is basically a fixed group of players that we all know what they bring, and there's not room for the likes of Stein, Eredivisie top goal scorer, yet. There's no room for exciting strikers such as Meerdink. And maybe, Brobbey was injured. Zirkzee just coming back from a finish issue as well. And likes of Bukema at Bologna and Delinga at Bologna not yet in the running for for a spot. So there's some names in there. It could have been in there, but they're in the under-21 squad instead. Interestingly, Hato is in both. So Hato could play this game and then drop down to the under-21s and play them in the Euros. So yeah, I think it's the names that we all expected. I think the only really surprise is that Mats Wiefer's in there, given the fact that he hasn't had a best season for Brighton, and he actually ended up playing as a right back towards the end of the season. So he was actually playing right wing back for them in the last few games. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised about that one. That's where he could have maybe experimented and gone with someone like Stein as a bench option. I don't think you really need a holding midfielder off the bench against Finland and Malta, but other than that, the names are no surprise. And yeah, Sherpin's in there because Verbruggen's injured.
Abdul, what do you think about that? I thought Wiefer was also a surprise selection. He's barely played this season for Brighton. Given he's playing right wing back at the end of the season, then you would think he's not been put in their out position. He's been put back in for being a midfielder, which he's barely played because he's been injured, no fitness. Weghorst as well, like there's a lack of options, but Max Munich at the end of the season was in great form. And if you're looking at your next striker to come through, that it's a good shout for Mike. I think if you hear that at first, you think we scored like a few goals for our Zeds. So what? I agree. I think it's a good left field shout for Mike. He's got to go in there. But the fact, and Mike, you did say that this wasn't under 21's podcast, but definitely worth talking about given it's Netherlands related. Munich not even selected in the under 21 squad. Like, what are they playing at with this? Like, he has to be given a chance. They're desperate for a striker to come through. So they decide not to play him in any kind of entity in the Dutch squads. But Abdul, I did ask for your thoughts. So what do you think about it?
According to what Koeman said about Stein, he said Stein needs to do more than scoring, which indicates that he doesn't want Stein to be a striker. He's probably going to use him as a playmaker, I think that's why he's looking more for a playmaker than a striker in Stein. So I think that's what he meant. About Wiever, it was a surprise actually. I was expecting maybe Taylor, since he did play against Spain and he performed well. Wiever now is playing as a right back, as you guys said, and we have him. We have also Dumfries, of course, and we also have Geertruida. So. Frimpong is probably going to play as a winger because in both matches, Koeman played him as a winger. So you have three right backs. If you consider also Frimpong that can be playing as a right back. So what's the point? I have no idea really. I think Koeman still wants Wiever as a midfielder, although he did play as a right back. Other than that, I think the entire selection looks good. We were expecting most of the players. I was expecting Weghorst to be selected. Weghorst scored many important goals for Ajax despite being injured for some time. And I think we're going to play exactly the same way we played against Spain, sorry.
Yeah, they were great that night. The Netherlands against Spain. Some brilliant performances. Which is a different kind of opposition, isn't it? It is away from home, though, so a tougher game in that respect. On Kenneth Taylor and Sam Stein, my thoughts, Kenneth Taylor, for me, he's probably the one that you want in that squad instead of Wiefer, an extra midfielder, someone that, at least in my opinion, is very good on the ball, creative too, lots of energy. He's had a great season with Ajax. I put him in my Eredivisie team of the season. I think he really deserves that. I think he's one of the star performances for Ajax this season. They got to a real surprise second place. I mean, there will be a few people listening that I know that will disagree with me and think that Taylor should be in the other squads. And I'm just going to disagree with them. I think he does deserve to be there instead of someone like Mats Wiefer, unfortunately, at the moment. And as for Stein, I still stick with what Koeman said in his press conference. He needs to do more than goal scoring. And he does do bits around the pitch. He is an improving pitch for Stein. That moves final will help him. But yeah, we say it a lot, don't we? I'm sure we say it several times on this show. Like, Stein will get a few games filed and be in this squad. It's so stereotypical that a player that plays 20 just can't get into that team. It may be the same for Meerdink. Maybe he goes and he scores 10, 15 goals in the first half of next season, still can't get in the squad. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets selected. We've had, Vincent Janssen was an AZ player that was selected for the Netherlands. I think, anyway, halfway through the season, he got into that eventually. Those two, I think, Taylor and Stein. Taylor, yes. Stein, maybe not yet. But, Mike, before we came on an air here, you said that Stein was a good option off the bench. And I buy into that. If we need a goal off the bench, he's someone you want to bring on. Different player to Reinders, who is currently playing in the 10 position. So that you still think there is a case for him?
Yeah, I think that if it's going wrong against Finland, you want somebody that's going to be in the box, sniffing out chances and scoring goals. It's basically what Stein's done this year for 20. He's been in that box, getting in the right positions to put the ball in the net. He's kind of like what, say, prime Davy Klaassen is for Ajax. He seems to be Mr. Right, Mr. Goal. He can turn up at that important moment and be in the box at the right time to score. If, say, it's 1-1 in the last 5-10 minutes to go against Finland, and Koeman's looking at his bench, and he's got Mats Wiefer there, or he could have Sam Stein who can bring on to try and get a goal. For me, there's no option there. You'd go with Stein for what he's done this season, and even if it's a case of, he's Eredivisie top goal scorer, we'll call him up, take a look at him. He knows what Wiefer has to offer. I just want Koeman to maybe take a look at some players. It's the same as what's annoying for me is that the under-21s in the main squad were training together because some of the internationals didn't turn up on time. So Koeman's actually had some time with a blended squad of under-21 players and full players. If, say, Meerdink was there, if Omega was there, sadly he's injured, these are sort of players that Koeman could have looked at and then went, okay, Meerdink's maybe not ready. I've seen him up against some of my players, so he can stay around the 21s. But there seems to be no communication between Koeman and Reisiger to be like, oh, maybe pick up this player. Now, I'm not saying that Koeman should influence who Reisiger picks. It should totally be down to Reisiger. But the fact that he's picking Noah Alhayo, who has barely got a game for Utrecht this season, and Van Bergen, who, decent for Groningen, but he's only scored 5 goals this season over Meerdink, who could be the future star of the Netherlands national team if he develops the way he did towards the end of the season. For me, is a joke, and it seems to be because of one incident months ago where Reisiger called him up for a game and then he pulled out and then played in a friendly for AZ. I just think stuff like that, you need to do what's best for the team to win tournaments. So talking about under 21s here, but later in the tournament, they're going to come up against a France, an England, a Portugal, who have their best talents in the squad. They're not left out some players because they didn't turn up to one squad. They've got their best players, and that's when the Netherlands are going to fall short because Reisiger's sticking with the squad that he's used for qualifying and sticking to his faithfuls. And that's what kind of Koeman does as well. He sticks to his faithfuls, and when it gets to the tournament, is he going to pick the players that are in red hot form or scoring goals, doing really well at the club sides, or is he going to go with the players that aren't doing well, but because he knows them, the ones like Hirtraude, Mats Wiefer, to a lesser extent, Weghorst has had a decent season for Ajax, but not great. Memphis is back in the squad. He's not exactly pulling up trees in Brazil, but Meerdink can't get in, even though he's young, talented. He could be the striker that Netherlands want and need, but he's too scared yet to pick him. And I don't see what the issue is, because other nations pick the best players, like Spain. They always go the youngest players. If they're good enough, they're in the squad. 17, 18, doesn't matter. They're in there. Same with France. But we seem to, in the Netherlands, still be like, no, you need to show it for a few years, and then you need to be a top club. And you need to do better than this player who did this thing months ago for us. Yeah, I just don't agree with the selection that the KNVB have about fixed groups, and it's all based on what you did before and not what you're doing now, which I think is wrong.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, nailed it. I don't know whether it's something that will change going ahead, but I said at the top of the show, this is a new cycle. This is the chance of bringing new players like this. I'm glad the under-21 got to train with the main national team, and I hope Koeman has a good look. The under-21s are busy with their own kind of competition here. Am I right, Mark, is saying that Ian Martin, the Villa left back, he's with the under-21s?
Yeah, he's on the under-21s.
Wasn't he someone else that refused to play for under-21s at one point?
Yeah, and remember that Gravenberg wasn't getting called up for a while because of a similar issue as well. So it seems to be a KMVB trope that if you don't play for one game, or you show that you don't want to turn up for one international cycle, you put your club first, then you're sort of ostracized until, I don't know, you apologize or you do your time and come back. I just think stuff like that, yes, it's good to protect the egos and show that the national team is the most important thing. But when it comes to a tournament, if you want to win a tournament, the under-21s are at, you pick your best striker. You pick the one that's going to score the most goals, not the one that's been sent on the bench for the last 6 months.
Yeah. Before we move on to the game itself, if you like, just looking at this squad, some players I haven't talked about yet. With the end of a domestic season, what seasons do these players have? How have they been getting on since the last games that we talked about the Netherlands? Looking at some names that stick out to me anyway, love to hear from you guys too on this. Flecken's just moved to Bayer Leverkusen, and he will probably be the first choice for these round of games if we're broken out. Olai, a massive rumour still I saw that he's off to PSV. I mean, it's been going on for a while with him going to PSV. They do need a new goalkeeper, but he seems like he'll be going there. I found it hilarious when I saw a comment. I can't remember who it was. I think it was someone in the Dutch media, maybe a former player, that said that Kels Scherpen being called up. They were like, every goalkeeper in the Eredivisie is better than him. It's like, oh, ouch. I don't think it's quite that bad. I think he played in the Champions League this season, did he not? Sturm Graz. So, yeah, I haven't watched him this season, but still. There are some goalkeepers in the Netherlands that probably could be in there. Robin Roofs, for example, NEC goalkeeper. Like, does he not deserve that call up as that third goalkeeper? Olai was in as that token, but now he's at the second choice this time.
I think, again, it comes down to under-21. So Roofs is with under-21, same way with Oduro. So I was
Oduro. He's quality, isn't he?
Yeah. So I think he's given some leeway to under-21s by not picking him. Like, Sherpen won't play. He won't get any game time. But yeah, there's definitely goalkeepers in Eredivisie that deserve it a lot more.
But it's going to be Fleck in both matches. That's pretty much for sure, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think actually it doesn't matter so much?
I
mean, he might go with Olai against Malta. You never know.
Well,
put him up top.
Yeah, put him up front. Yeah, he's a big lad.
I was surprised that he selected Ake. Actually, he was injured for a while, and he did not play, as far as I know. He did not play much. So why picking him? I hope he doesn't start with Ake really as a left back. I think Mickey van de Ven is more capable. He's more ready, and he showed quality really.
Yeah, agreed. I think Koeman said in his press conference that depending on the fitness of Ake is whether or not Hato will get dropped down to under-21s. So I think he's picked him as a bit of a risk to be like, is he fit or is he not? And if he's not, he won't play, and then Hato will stay. If he is fit enough to play, then Hato goes down to the under-21s earlier than he planned. But yeah, I think it's a strange one to pick him when he got basically no game time for Manchester City towards the end of the season.
Most likely he will not be a starter. Most likely it's going to be Van de Ven. If you allow me to continue with the defenders.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Dumfries, Van Dijk, Van Hecke. They really proved themselves as central defenders, Van Dijk and Van Hecke. Dumfries, I think, is going to be a starter with Mickey van de Ven. I think this is going to be the four defenders we have in the back. I don't know if you guys disagree or something.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my mind about the Dumfries and De Vrij. Think how their season is. I'm sure they won't be the only ones, but they lost the league. They lost Champions League final. And now they're going to come over and play a couple of international games. Then they're going to go back with Inter Milan and play the Club World Cup. It's just, will the season never end for them?
Yeah, it's gonna be really tiring. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Dumfries will not play an entire match. If we win comfortably, he might substitute him with the Geertruida, for example, to let him rest. Especially that Geertruida performed really well against Spain. We did not really expect to see him playing that good. About the midfield, I think it's going to be also the same. It's going to be Frankie de Jong, Reinders, and Kluivert up front, the attacking midfielder. I don't think Koeman is going to make any changes in the midfield. This midfield seemed to work very well against Spain. Why changing it? I know we have Gravenberg, who also been having a very great season with the Liverpool, but since he started with Frankie, Reinders, and Kluivert, well, they also had a great season,
I think on that one, I think there is a case to put Gravenberg in and put Reinders as a 10 away from home at Finland. But I think if it were Malta, you wouldn't do that. You can experiment a little more, and you can be more attacking by having Kluivert in instead.
Both teams are way weaker than Oranje, so we should really try to attack the entire match. So that's why I expect Kluivert to be a starter, really. And the front line, I think it's going to be Frimpong, Memphis, and Gakpo. I don't think we will see any surprises there.
I totally agree. And I think against Malta, you'd be better to have someone like Rekorsen, someone just to busy defenders and take people out of the way. He doesn't score any goals himself.
Yeah. Against Malta, it's a possibility.
Against Malta.
Yes. Yeah.
But do we actually think he'll play Dumfries and Frimpong same
yeah,
time?
that's my apprehension still. Against Spain, it was an obvious thing, wasn't it? And maybe against Finland it is. But against Malta, maybe not.
Possible.
Because against Spain, it was Geertruida and Frimpong. So Dumfries, I think, was out for those games. So
Yes, he was out. And the team performed very well. So maybe he will start with Geertruida.
I can't see him putting Frimpong and Dumfries in the same team, even against Finland, just because it would leave space. So I think it'd either be Dumfries and Simmons, or it'll be Geertruida and Frimpong if you wanted to. It depends how fit Dumfries is and what mentality he has. Because watching that final, I thought it was a really, really tough watch for Dumfries. He was trying his best, but every single time he bombed forward, he was getting shoved off the ball so easily by PSG. So I think he had a really tough night. So it depends what mood he's in at the moment to whether he can start that game. But if not, then I'd be all for Geertruida playing right back and Frimpong as winger, because it really, really did work against Spain.
I completely forgot about the World Cup for clubs. So in that case, Dumfries might not actually be a starter. Yeah, it is a possibility.
Yeah, and the other players I guess we could kind of bring up here. Daniel Marlin got some more minutes for Villa towards the end of the season. Still not like at his best. I still think got so much more to go. I think next season he's going to be much more important player for Villa than he was this season. But still, when he came off the bench, he's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, pretty effective. I think this guy can score goals.
Yeah, but with the number of attackers we are having now, like Merding, for example, and hopefully, if Stein proves himself, although he's a midfielder, but if he proves himself to play as an attacker, maybe Malin will not have a place in Oranje. I just have some anger against him because we were out in 3 competitions because of him. I don't want to blame him personally, but I remember the match against Czech Republic in the Euros, and then the match against Spain where he wasted a penalty. He has been making many mistakes with Oranje, but he is effective if he plays at his best.
Yeah. I'd much rather see Noah Lang, given the fact that Noah Lang played so well towards the end of the season for PSV. I think that if anyone's going to come off the bench for Gakpo, I really want to see more of Lang in Orange and see what he can do. Especially against, if Finland are going to sit deep behind the ball, then I think Lang will be quite effective against that. I think it's his time. I think he deserves it as well for what he did for PSV towards the end of the season. And I I'm excited to see what he can do off the bench.
That last-minute goal against Feyenoord, so important. Like, you can't underestimate that, can you? That won them the league, as well as Bloxar's goal against Ajax. But you can see it positively, negatively, can't you? I think positively, Lang won them that title there with that goal.
Yeah.
And that performance in the second half. Yeah. You see, it's that thing in it. It's just consistency. Like, if Lang and Marlon play at their best all the time, like they're undisputed starters, but they don't. So,
yeah. Well, the problem with Lang, he plays the same place as Gakpo. So you have to choose one of them. And I would go for Gakpo, of course. He has more experience. He played in a higher level. Yeah. So that's the problem. Both of them play in the same position. So, yeah.
Should we move on to talk about the opposition, shall we? So, Abdul, you've given us a bit of a starting 11 from that. So, a little less than the Netherlands side, but still thinking of the threats that Finland can bring. There is a name that's been doing really well in the Eredivisie this season. He plays for Go Ahead Eagles. Oliver Antman is a right winger, 15 assists in the Eredivisie this season. Another player on my team of the season that was just for me, anyway, not for everyone, but for me, was a shoe-in, like had to go in there because he has been really dangerous on the right side. And thinking of the Netherlands' left side, with that doubt over fitness of Ake, could be a problem. I mean, Mike, you watched Antman play this season. He is a threat, isn't he? And I guess, is there anyone else you'd pick out from the Finland squad?
I think that he's, for me, when I look at the Finland squad, he seems to be the one that might, he could do something against us because of what form he's shown for Go Ahead Eagles. I guess they've still got the old man up front, Timo Pukki. He's been doing it for years, and so he'll be the starting striker. And they've got a couple of decent midfielders, Jensen, who plays in Germany, and Kamara, who used to play for Rangers. He went to France, now he's in Saudi Arabia. So they've got like 3 or 4 decent quality players. I think of all of them, we know Ant-Man because what he's been doing at Go Ahead Eagles this season, the amount of assists that he's producing. So for me, it's sort of the reason why I would have, say, Ravenberg in this game, because I think you might need somebody to be there to, sweep up, maybe track him down, keep an eye on him. I think if, Gakpo doesn't get back to help out, then you need somebody like Ravenberg to actually do some running in midfield and keep him under wraps and stop him from doing anything. Because he's really the only one I think that can hurt us. I think like Finland's quite an up and down team. I think they're going through a transition at the moment. I think from looking at what their squad was the last game, I think there's 4 or 5 defenders who aren't there this time. So that could be an opportunity for the Netherlands if they're got a lot of unexperienced players. But yeah, they've still got that spine of Pukki and Ant-Man with Jensen and Kamara in midfield. So yeah, it's a potential banana skin, possibly like Bulgaria was. But yeah, I think that Netherlands are a lot more dangerous than they were then, and you wouldn't think that Finland would cause many problems because they went on a 6-game losing streak before they beat Malta 1-0 and then drew 2-2 with Lithuania. So yeah, I don't think they're really pulling up trees with the results. So yeah, you'd have Netherlands winning this one comfortably, but yeah, Ant-Man's the one to watch.
Well, Finland gave Poland a hard time. I remember it ended 1-0 for Poland. So I don't think the team will allow many goals. I'm expecting Oranje to win, of course. We all expect that, but I don't think it's going to be an easy match. I would say maybe 2-0, I'm not expecting a big result like the one against, I hope it will be against Malta,
Yeah, they're a team that can try and make it a tough game for the bigger teams in Europe, but also aren't beating those smaller sides comfortably. So they're kind of that in-between kind of team. They can probably turn it on for a game against the Netherlands, big crowd coming in to see the game. However, the Netherlands have got to handle that. We said it already. They've got to win this game. Yeah, a bit of a throwback there with Fredrik Jensen in midfield. One of our first interviews we had on Football-Oranje back in the day. Yeah, he was a decent player, a decent midfielder. So they have got some useful players there. But I did also notice in the squad that they've called up an Exeter City fullback
I think it's just complacency. If the Netherlands aren't 100% at it, that's the only thing that can hurt them. I think the Koeman really
After a long hard season, maybe they're not up for it.
Yeah, they really need to be focused on this. As I said earlier on, like, this is probably after Poland away their second hardest game, so they need to win this one, put down a marker to be 2 wins straight off, and then the 2 against Poland are probably the most important games after that because the rest of them are all winnable. But this is one that is a sticky one, but one everyone should be winning if they're focused, and I really hope that they are. And Koeman gets the squad selection right, gets the tactics right, an early goal to ease any nerves, and then a comfortable win after that.
Well, this is probably the easiest group for Oranje in a World Cup qualifier for a long time, really. If I remember 2018 qualifier, we had Sweden and France, and after that we had Norway and Montenegro, which was a very annoying team. You know, they made a comeback against us. Same as 2014, 2010. So this time is probably we probably have the easiest group. I don't think we should struggle at all. We really need to win. I don't think fans will expect anything but winning all the matches. I really hope this is going to be the case.
Predictions time then. Abdul have gone 2-0 to the Netherlands. Mike, what do you think?
3-1.
And I think I'll go 4-1 to Netherlands. I think it's time to score some goals. I think this is the first time I've been the most positive out of the 3 of us. I'm like, could be a draw. I'm not sure. And how do you think we score as well? Where the goal's going to come from? Is the usual suspect of Cody Gakpo?
Yeah.
I would say Memphis and Gakpo.
I think a Gakpo cut inside from the left, arrow it into the bottom corner, and then Van Hecla to head in a corner. And
Okay.
The third one will be Frimpong off the bench in the 90th minute.
I'm going to throw an own goal in there as well. Off someone's backside. Okay. Thanks to guys talking anyway. And anything else you guys will bring up first before we finish?
Who's gonna score, Michael? You did not tell us.
Well, I already said one was an own goal. I think Cody will score. Why don't we go for a rarity? Why don't we go Frankie de Jong to bag one?
Frankie de Jong.
He passes it into the net or something.
Possible.
Good to talk, guys. And we will be back, of course, for a live show after the Finland game. It will be Abdul and I. Mike is away during a holiday. And then after the multi-game as well, we'll have another live stream after that. No preview necessarily for that one because the games are so close together. So a couple of live streams ahead and we'll see everyone there, see everyone in the comments. Another shout out. Again, we have Football-Oranje scarves at the moment. There'll be a link in the description for you to purchase one and support Football-Oranje. I think it will be wintertime now for those living in the Southern Hemisphere. So our fans over in Australia and New Zealand, it's about time you got yourself a nice winter scarf, isn't it? Everyone in the Northern Hemisphere, we're like roasting. We're very warm now. We don't need a scarf in our life unless you want to put something on your wall. It's been nice to see a few of the pictures sent over, by the way, of what people have been putting in their scarves, what they're doing with them, like people putting it in their rooms and stuff. It's really nice to see. Thanks for your support. Give us a like anyway if you want to support us another way, and drop us a comment. What do you think of the squad, the player selection, Koeman's thoughts, our thoughts? We always want to hear it, and your predictions for the game too. So until after the Finland game, we'll see you soon. And Hope Oranje. Hope.